Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
Welcome back to another episode of Superhuman Radio. Today is December 4th, 2020. We're getting very close to the end of the year, into the holidays. We have a really important topic today. During the first hour, we're going to be talking about protein digestion and assimilation. You eat a lot of protein. It's important to you. But are you really getting the value of all the money that you're spending on protein? Later in the show, we have a question and answer. We've gotten lots of questions about infrared saunas, some interesting ones. We're going to be talking to some experts later in the show about that. But of course, before we get started, we have to thank our title sponsor, Legendary Foods. shrnetwork.biz/legendary is the URL. The code is SHR10 to get 10% off everything. Tasty pastries, nut butters, seasoned almonds. It's all there. Don't forget to check out their new flavors, the blueberry and the hot fudge sundae. Both have 15 grams of high leucine protein, 0 sugar. These are gluten-free. Your kids will think they're eating real Pop-Tarts. Don't tell them the truth. Why should they know that they're eating something good for them? So check it out. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary. Use the code SHR10 and save. Without further delay, I want to bring my guest on, a guy I love spending time with. In fact, I said to Elisa, you're going to be getting an email about the 15th anniversary. Wade Lightheart is someone that I have come to admire, but also there's every now and then there's people you meet and you think, man, I'd really like to hang out with him. You know, it'd be really, really fun to hang out. And I just said to Elisa, I said, I'd really like to go and hang out with Wade sometime. It would be a lot of fun. So here he is, Wade Lightheart himself. How you doing, Wade?
Thanks, Carl. And as you know, it's an open invitation to come out here to California to the Biohome. So I know you just moved. So you're all settled now. Seems like you're all relaxed and chilled. So
no, we're not. Everything is everywhere. I can't. The reason I'm wearing a hat is because my hair is so long and I can't find my damn razor. Everything is everywhere. Elisa couldn't find the box of our most expensive china. She just found it yesterday. And we've been there 2 weeks. So everything is, but we're getting there. It's a process. We're getting there.
Great.
So this is an important discussion. And I want to kind of set the table first. People all agree that you could eat whole foods all day long and develop nutrient deficiencies. We know that. Mm-hmm. Depending on the diversity of your gut, depending on the characteristic of your pancreas, depending on the acidity of your stomach, many people eat whole food diets and end up with B12 deficiencies, magnesium deficiencies, and all these other deficiencies. But for some reason, people don't transcribe that phenomenon to macronutrients, right? So very few people think that, I'm eating 200 grams of protein a day. They just assume that they're getting the full biological effect of 200 grams of protein a day. Just because they're not passing whole undigested beef and chicken and fish in their bowel movement, they just figure, but protein is probably the most important of all the macronutrients to digest fully, because we need all of those amino acids to be released, individualized, so they can be reassembled by the body for the reasons it needs. So people aren't I could be eating 250 grams of protein a day and only seeing the effect of 100. Look at the money I'm wasting. And more importantly, look at the goals I'm not able to achieve. Speak about it, please.
It's a huge topic. And of course, this is what really started us down the road in Bioptimizers literally almost 17 years ago, when this came to my attention. I was a bodybuilder, had a background in competitions and stuff. And I ran into my digestive health disaster after the Mr. Universe contest. And I met a doctor, and I did a 10-day, here's what happened. I did a 10-day fast and on water. And on day 10, I'm still crapping out stuff.
Right.
And I'm going, wait a second.
How could that be?
I haven't eaten in 10 days and I'm still dumping out stuff out of my body. What's this possible? And the doctor that I had met was a gal that had recovered. He had helped Bernard Jensen recover from cancer, who wrote the book on the colon and and iridology. He had recovered from cancer himself and cirrhosis of the liver. And he said what Hippocrates said, that all disease starts in the gut. And until that point, now keep in mind, I trained exercise physiology. I was a bodybuilding champion. I was a nutritionist. I worked, my macros were as tight as a fiddle string to go to the Mr. Universe contest. There was no deviation for decades. Okay. And I didn't have the genetics I had no business going to the Mr. Universe, but I managed to get there out of just discipline, sheer will. When I had this thing, the doctor said to me, he says, Wade, you actually think that you've assumed all your food? And I went, what do you mean? He says, well, there's a specific process where you go through all these stages of digestion. And if any of those are interrupted, you are not going to get the amino acids. We're going to focus on protein today. You're not going to take all that protein that you're consuming as a bodybuilder and get into your system. And I had evidence. I'd just not eaten for 10 days trying to fix myself, and I was still crapping out stuff. So I thought, okay, well, something's coming from somewhere.
Right.
And he started to explain this process to me. And the thing is every species on the planet eats its food in a raw, live state. Whales eat seals, tigers eat zebras, bears eat blueberries and salmon, horses eat, grass. But guess what? Humans cook their food. And there's an interesting thing, a thing called enzymes, which do all the chemical work in the body. There's over 25,000 that they know of in the human body, and there's probably a lot more that they haven't discovered. There's always, and these are if you call it the metabolic workers of the body. They convert things from one thing to the other. And I'm going to tie this all together if your listeners are following me. Every species grabs the enzymes that break down that food that they are eating that's relative to their dietary choices, because it not only gets the protein, carbs, and fats, it gets the enzymes, it gets the bacteria, it gets all of it.
Right.
Well, in the last 80 years, humans have radically altered their way that they get food, from food production and distribution. In fact, we've loaded up all these chemicals on our foods, herbicides, pesticides, and fungicides, which disrupt enzymatic activity. And most of our food is either cooked, preserved. All our protein powder, very few people actually eat live protein powder. Very few have enzymes. And so we started this trend and started looking at it about, well, what happens if we start looking at proteolytic enzymes, the enzymes that break down protein, in regards to taking that with the protein that we're eating, whether you're eating meat or plants or protein powder, and see what the results were. Well, when we started doing that, we got stronger. We recovered faster. We didn't have any weird feelings in our gut. And when I went on my next 10-day fast, I wasn't crapping out stuff 10 days later. So I was like, we're on to something here. We're really on to something up here. And I believe that, our company at that time before Bioptimizers was called Freaky Big Naturally. And we were training bodybuilders all around the world my motivation was I wanted them to avoid the mistakes that I had made. I was like, how did I get to the Mr. Universe contest, gain 42 pounds of fat and water in 11 weeks after I'm supposed to be at the pinnacle of aesthetic ideas? And I'm a disaster. We figured that out over 4 years. And we started testing different enzymes and different types of proteases and this stuff to improve the assumption of amino acids. We got so good at it when I went back to the World Championships 3.5 years later. We coached over 15,000 people. I was able to compete at a World Championship level, 7 pounds heavier than my weight before. So I had 7 pounds more of muscle than I had 3.5 years before. But I was only eating 85 grams of protein instead of the 250 that I was eating before.
That's shocking.
No, and everybody says, well, that's not possible. I said, no, I needed to prove that it wasn't the total amount of protein that you were eating. It was how much of that protein you were converting into the amino acids that allowed my body to recover, that allowed my brain to work, all that stuff. And it took me 3.5 years to figure that out, Matt and I. And that was the beginning of our journey in understanding how the body breaks down all of its food. But in today's thing, we'll talk particularly about protein and converts it into the amino acids to run your neurochemicals in your brain, to help your amino acids, to build your muscle tissue back. I mean, it's very, very important. Not to mention, this is another key aspect. Enzymes are also a big factor in regulating everything in your body. So
right.
when you're eating a lot of protein, you're draining your natural enzymatic production, which causes the drain. And I call that, we just had Thanksgiving, I call it the turkey dinner syndrome. You go to Thanksgiving dinner, right? The big turkey, the potatoes, you got the stuffing, you got the apple pie, you load up, it's awesome, someone breaks out the sweet potato bread, you're like, this is great, it's so good, you have another helping. And then shortly afterwards, there's a thing that happens in almost every family. And that is, who's going to get the couch, who's going to get the rocking chair, and who's laying on the floor. And everybody's passed out 45 minutes, an hour after the meeting, drooling down their face after they just consumed enough energy to run a marathon. But nobody's running a marathon.
Right.
The farthest you run is to get to the couch. Right? Who gets the couch first? Because that's the sweet spot. Why is that? Because the body's enzymatic reserves, its ability, it says, I can't run my brain right now. I can't run these other things. I need to send all the blood and all the enzymes to try and break down this ginormous, tasty meal that I just had.
Right.
And when you get that somewhat regulated, you wake back up. Okay, I snapped out of it again, right? What do I need? Oh, can I get another piece of that pie? You're right.
Yeah, right.
So that's an illustration that it's not about the food that you're eating. It's how well you're able to digest and assimilate that food. And so we live in a world now where the entire population has disrupted enzymatic function because of all the herbicides, pesticides, and fungicides. In other words, that's how they kill the bugs. They disrupt the enzymatic functioning of those bugs, and that's how they kill us too.
So it's really interesting, and I think everybody will agree that you can end up with nutrient deficiencies that even if you're eating whole food. But people seem to have a hard time understanding that you're definitely ending up with a protein deficiency of sorts. But the problem is, it doesn't show up the way a nutrient deficiency would. If you become deficient in B12 long enough, you're going to develop some horrible, horrible neurological conditions and so on. But what people fail to realize about protein is, those of us in physical culture, all we care about is building muscle, staying lean, being strong. But the reality is that amino acids, so everybody loves peptides today. Peptides,
oh yeah,
right? I do a special episode at least once or twice a month called the Pep Talk, where we investigate this magic peptide that has this profound effect on a disease state. Well, what are peptides? Peptides are amino acids strung together by varying degrees of weak and strong bonds. The bonds are commas, semicolons, question marks. The amino acids are words, if you will, and they are literally protein messages that go from cell to cell to tell cells to do things. So imagine what happens if you're writing a book and you're an old-fashioned typesetter back in the old days. You're looking for the words, you're putting the letters in. And all of a sudden, you realize you run out of the ability to write the word and. So now you're going to write this book without the word and people are going to read it and they're going to go, this doesn't make sense. Well, the difference between that and what happens on a cellular level is when you don't have all of the available words needed, you lose syntax, you lose the message becomes garbage. We call that fouled up message plaque. These peptides that are disrupted, that are corrupted, they have no message, they have no place, and they end up building up. That's the tau plaque, that's the amyloid plaque. These are all bad messages. That's what they are. And they get gummy and they get sticky and they stick to things and they cause problems. They happen a lot of times because the body can't form the message that it wants, so it just leaves that word out and sends it on its way. And so it's more, while we are also fixated on building muscle and we're very selfish about our very narrow views of why proteins are important, those broken down proteins into their subsequent amino acids actually sustain life. They are the messages that one cell communicates with another. And if you can't communicate, then cells go awry. So when we talk about digesting protein, it's not just about leucine. Well, as long as I get my 3 grams of leucine per meal, I'm turning on protein synthesis. It's about disease states. And we know this is true because by taking an exogenous peptide that's properly syntaxed, all the words are intact, all of the commas and dashes and everything are where they belong, can actually reverse disease states. Your body wants to do that on its own, but it can't if it doesn't have the vast number of words that it needs to send that message.
What you've essentially described is the aging and degeneration process. And people look at it holistically. They look at, oh, I'm getting older or I'm, whatever. But you have to realize, depending on where the damage is expressed in the body is going to determine where the potential disease occurs. And that could be based on a genetic weakness. It could be deficiencies within the diet. It could be exposures to toxicities, which disrupt an almost endless array of these transcription processes. Because you need enzymes to get your protein to get your minerals to get your vitamins in the body. And these are all catalysts for every reaction that goes on inside your body, every single one, the entire array of everything. And so what happens, and I think Hippocrates, how he knew this, I don't know. He said that all disease begins in the gut.
True.
And what people don't recognize, and this is what my mentor told me, the doctor, he said, look, you just didn't get cancer one day. You just didn't get heart disease one day. You just didn't get diabetes one day. It was a combination of your diet, a deficiency within enzymatics, your ability to take and convert those things and transcribe them, a disbalance in your microbiome, and then whatever genetic or epigenetic weaknesses that you may have within your body. And people, how it always says, well, this runs in my family.
Right. So does eating that food, by the way.
yeah, exactly. And so we can see trends. And one of the things that was really striking, because during the same time I was running a holistic health clinic and I started giving people proteolytic enzymes for a variety of different things, because I would see all these people with digestive problems. And all of a sudden, some of their other symptoms started to go away, because once they had the enzymes, they could actually extract what they were, the value, if you will, out of the food that they were consuming. So it's been a great journey, and I keep discovering new things all the time. It's amazing.
Mark DeCorso says one interesting thing recently he found is when you fast, your gut biome and the good bacteria actually increase during fasting, as opposed to decreasing, which is what you would think happens. Talk about the role of enzymes and their interplay with the microbiome.
Yeah. So as we talked about in other shows, there's 5 stages of digestion: taste, touch, chew your food. Food goes in the upper cardiac portion. This is where the enzymes are supposed to break it down as the hydrochloric acid, and it changes the pH of that entire mixture. When it does that, some enzymes become activated, some become deactivated. These proteins are cleaved into essential amino acids. Then all the food goes into the microbiome, and the microbiome will work on those particular amino acids or pieces of protein and convert them. They live in this little thing called the biofilm, and then they transport that across the intestinal wall. Now, when it's related to, first off, if you do not have pre-digestion properly, then your body is going to try and release these enzymes out of the body. And that's why a lot of people get tired from their food, because they're actually draining their energy reserves to digest their food. But more importantly, if this protein isn't broken down sufficiently enough, the bacteria can't work on it. They can't eat the food. So they starve to death. Also, what happens is other bacteria cultures will start to chip away at that and create all these endotoxins inside the body, skatol and indole and all these sort of things. And then another concordant thing starts to happen is you start to get breaks in this microfilm, which is where you end up with leaky gut. Mm-hmm. So what happens, to answer your friend's question, is there's a confluence of potential factors that could be happening there. And I think we always think in kind of a one thing only mentality in our world, and we can't look at that.
And that's insulting when you think about the complexity of the human body, by the way.
Yeah. So what happens oftentimes when someone's fasting is simply that the bad guys who are dependent on, say, sugars will start to diminish because they're starving to death. That's really the easiest explanation. The microbiome is always changing relative to your environment, externally and internally, your diet, stress levels, whether you're drinking coffee, whether you're having booze, whether you're eating sugar, whether you're eating wheat. Then you get some of these inflammatory proteins, or you get chemical agents that can really throw things off, like people who struggle with gluten, for example, is a big one. Now, some people think that it's only gluten is the issue. Some people think it's the Roundup that may be on North American gluten.
Right.
Because there's so many people who have gluten intolerance will go to a place like Italy where they don't use
these
chemicals.
I eat pasta every day and it didn't even affect me. Yeah.
Right. They come back here, they have one bowl of spaghetti and they're, you know what I mean? They're in pain. Well, why is that? So I think gluten is a well-known inflammatory protein. I do believe the chemical agents that we are consuming may be more disruptive than even the gluten itself.
Yeah. So I want to take a break, but before we do that, I want to give people some information about this. Is something I use multiple times a day, and it is called Masszymes. We did a show about it beginning of the year, last year, maybe it was. And I use it religiously. I actually stack it with P3OM. And I have to tell you, and I also use the Gluten Guardian. I have been eating more bread, and Gluten Guardian allows me to eat bread without feeling bloated, and I don't feel crappy the next day. I haven't eaten a whole pizza yet. That remains to be seen. However, when it comes to releasing those amino acids from your proteins that you're consuming, that you're spending a lot of money, because let's face it, the protein portion of your diet is the most expensive. Mm-hmm. This is the way to go. Masszymes. If you go to shrnetwork.biz/Masszymes, Masszymes, you'll get the strongest protease enzyme formula you can find anywhere on the planet. You'll save 10% off and free shipping. And if you buy multiple bottles, they can get it down so cheap that you don't have to even think about throwing a handful in your mouth anymore, which is what I do. This is a really important discussion. I don't care if you think that protein deficiency can possibly be a thing because you're eating so much of it. You don't have to eat as much. You don't have to put the labor on your digestive system to get the same results from less protein when you use something like Masszymes. So check it out. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Masszymes. Use the code SHR10. Save 10% off and get free shipping. We're going to take one quick commercial break. And when we come back, we have more questions from viewers. Stay tuned. You are watching and listening to Superhuman Radio. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, said that all disease begins in your gut. That's why it's so important to protect yourself with boosted immune system. If you drink coffee, tea, smoothies, or really any beverage in the morning, and you're looking for a tasty way to start your day and defend yourself against harmful bacteria, then I have just the thing for you to try. It's called the Ultimate Immunity Protection Stack, and it was put together by my friends over at Biooptimizers. Their immunity stack has 3 products which contain over 18 natural herbs and probiotic blends formulated to fight and eliminate bad bacteria like E. coli, salmonella, gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, and repair compromised gut lining. It also includes psychobiotics, which help increase serotonin and happy chemicals to naturally elevate your mood, performance, and cognitive function with no side effects or dependencies. It's a great addition to your morning routine, and it tastes amazing. Just stir it into any beverage, sip, and enjoy. It's the ultimate way to boost your immune system right before the holiday season. Go to shrnetwork.biz/protect and use code SHR10 and save an extra 10% off on the. You won't find this deal or stack anywhere else. For fast shipping and the best deal, go to shrnetwork.biz/protect today.
Proper hydration can lead to improved endurance, performance, and recovery. When we sweat, we lose valuable electrolytes that must be replaced. That's why Element created a zero-sugar, science-backed ratio of electrolytes that you can add to your water. It comes in 3 flavors. Sample them all risk-free with the Element Variety Pack. Carl's favorite is raspberry. Free shipping on all U.S. orders. Go to shrnetwork.biz/LMNT and get yours today.
Do you remember those delicious toaster pastries you had when you were a kid? You know, the rectangular sugar-filled snacks? Well, guess what? Legendary Foods has just made low-carb toaster pastry. This is the first of its kind, and honestly, these things are amazing. They have 3 to 4 net carb, less than 1 gram of sugar, and 9 grams of protein. You can eat them right out of the wrapper or lightly toast them. The only question is, which flavor, strawberry or brown sugar cinnamon? They're available at eatlegendary.com and Amazon. Whether your goal is to build muscle or burn fat, you'll find everything you need at Redcon One. Need help getting a good night's sleep? Try Fade Out, or the most popular pre-workout supplement on the market today, Total War. Sign up for their new Transformation Challenge and win $10,000, or shop for apparel that people at the gym will know that you are serious about your training. Need a testosterone booster that works? Check out Boomstick. Whatever you need, you'll find the best quality supplements on the market at Redcon One. Go to redcon1.com. That's REDCON1.com, or go to superhumanradio.net and click the Redcon One banner ad today.
Quest Nutrition makes bars, cookies, chips, and pizzas out of complete dairy-based proteins. Our products minimize net carbs and sugar without sacrificing taste. Each delicious chocolate-flavored chip, cookie chunk, and crunchy crumble is custom made to maintain Quest macros. It's time to enjoy foods that work for you, not against you. It's time to enjoy your Quest.
Everybody wants to feel better, be healthier, and happier. If you don't sweat profusely on a regular basis, you won't feel as good as you could. Studies have shown the power of infrared sauna. Infrared penetrates 1 to 2 inches into the body. It helps those with back pain, fibromyalgia, arthritis, depression, and anxiety. Patients get relief from infrared sauna. The Good Health Sauna has been shown to be an exercise mimetic, conveying many of the same benefits as cardio. There are a lot of reasons people buy a Good Health Sauna, but the bottom line is you will be a much happier, healthier person by using the Good Health Sauna every day. You'll crave it, you'll love it, and it will be the best purchase you have ever made. Good Health Saunas provide commercial-grade saunas for in-home and commercial use, backed by the best lifetime warranty in the industry. Unmatched customer service and the best financing makes owning one easy and will fit any budget. Go to goodhealthsauna.com/superhumanradio to learn more and save 25% off.
You're listening to the Superhuman Channel. We're ripped and we're ready.
Welcome back to Superhuman Radio. We're talking with Wade Lightheart from Biooptimizers, and we're talking about a product called Masszymes that is a must for anybody who's eating high protein, really, when you think about it, because you will get more value for the protein you're eating. And who knows, you maybe even save some money and spend less on your protein. So we have some comments here. Let's get up to this here. Mark DeCorso, I put this up before. He said, food is generational. It's tough to decipher food from actual heredity. It's a very good point. Danny Geraldo Oquendo, who listens and watches the show from Colombia, says, what type of protein, digestion supplements, and type and protocol with peptides when you have been diagnosed with ulcerative colitis? Thank you both for sharing such great knowledge. Well, the first thing I would say is another supplement that you heard a spot for a couple moments ago, which is the Ultimate Immunity Stack, also from Bioptimizers, because you want to reestablish that mucosal barrier so that ulcerative colitis occurs because the protective mucosa has been worn away, and now the actual lining, the skin of the intestines, are actually being exposed to gastric juices and foods, and stuff is getting into your bloodstream, but also burning the colon and actually other areas of the intestines as well. So that's the first thing. As far as peptides, I don't think you need any fancy peptides, but I do think you need to eliminate certain foods that seem to have been identified as irritants. What do you think about that, Wade?
100%. You have to go on a significant elimination diet. You need to rebuild your intestinal lining. You may have to do even some hypnotherapy or psychological aspects in order that you can maintain that, because there's both a psychological and emotional response mechanism inside the body. We have these little sentinels that sit just inside the intestinal tract when coming out of the stomach. And when you have ulcerative colitis, usually these things get activated where they check to see if food is okay or whatever, and there's a disruption within that. So sometimes that can come through the nervous system. It can come from a dysbiosis of bacteria. So what I find is that most people need to have to recognize, look, your digestive system is shot, and without going on an extremely aggressive, and I'm not candy coating anything here. You need to go on an extremely aggressive elimination diet in conjunction with a naturopathic doctor. What I will say right off the bat, do not take proteolytic enzymes like Masszymes if you have ulcerative colitis. That is a bad idea. You'll feel like you had razor blades, because these enzymes will start aggravating that, because you have little holes and you'll just start digesting your body. So I'm not saying that to be negative. I'm just saying what the results are. Elimination diet, rebuild the mucosa as you've suggested, and you're going to have to be disciplined, and you need the guidance of a medical practitioner. This is a serious condition that, left unchecked, can, number one, can kill you, but it compromises every aspect of your life. So don't mess around with it. The other thing is a lot of supplemental proteins are going to be quite inflammatory for that condition as well. So you're going to have to eat really, really clean, and you need to take away all the chemicals out of your diet, because oftentimes chemicals will also exacerbate it.
Hold on. I have an electrician here that's working on the other studio.
No worries.
Do you need me to write you a check now? Yeah, because I'm in the middle of a show. If it wouldn't be a problem, Yes. Yeah. I'll call Billy.
Next week should be pretty
okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry about that. I'm conducting business and a show at the same time. So the other thing I wanted to mention about this is ulcerative colitis exclusively diagnosed by symptoms, or can they do like an ultrasound and actually see the ulcer?
They can actually see it. A lot of times they'll do colonoscopies and things like that. Where there's a great book by Dr. Hiromi Shinya. He's probably the world's best. He's the guy that actually invented the hook technique for removing polyps from the colon. He's got a book called The Enzyme Factor and another one called The Microbe Factor. He was at the Beth Israel Center. He split his time between Japan and the United States. He's an ambidextrous kung fu guy, and his recommendations, I think, in that book was where I would start. There's probably nobody that was a better expert on that particular condition and go down that route. And I think you'll do very, very well if you want to put in the work. And it sounds like they're motivated. If they're listening to your show, they're obviously seeking that out. So
right. So the next question comes from Mark DeCorso. He says, how detrimental are antibiotics? I've been on antibiotics for over 6 months now due to Lyme disease. My newborn son was put on antibiotics for an infection. I've seen studies that show one course can affect your life. Then some say it's no big deal. What's your opinion, Wade?
And the original developers of antibiotics had one deep concern, and that there would be an overprescription of them over time that would lead to a variety of complications. And we're well past that component right now. First and foremost, I want to be clear. Without a doubt, antibiotics have saved millions and people. I'm not here to throw antibiotics under the bus. What I'm here to share is if you are under a course of antibiotics, now with Lyme's disease, it's very disruptive because oftentimes the antibiotics can disrupt the mitochondrial function, because the mitochondrial is a bacteria that actually just became integrated in part of the cell, and it becomes very disruptive in that particular condition. So what I suggest for people to do is once you're done the course of antibiotics, immediately spend the next 3 months working on repairing the damage from them, because they're like just dropping a bomb. They take the bad guys, the good guys, they take everybody out. And then you can be okay. So same thing with your son, but recognize a lot of times we need antibiotics because we already have a compromised microbiome, a compromised immune system. And so in the modern world, we have to take time, effort, energy, and resources to cultivate a healthy defense system. So I'm not against antibiotics. What I'm against is just taking antibiotics and going and not calling it a day. That's not the way to go. And I think responsible people will do that. With Lyme's, I would suggest for this individual, get involved with a Lyme's disease expert. That's a serious condition that can come back on you multiple times. And you really need to sort out your digestive system on that one.
So in July of this year, I did a show with Dr. Richard Horowitz, who is a leader in the Lyme disease arena. He has done more to progress new treatments for Lyme disease than any of the 10 doctors in the category. And he talked about a new way to treat Lyme disease without antibiotics that actually is curing people. Now, he can't say cure because it's very hard to show that the Lyme disease is cured, but you can show this bacillus bacteria that's present in it is gone. The symptoms are gone. So for all intents and purposes, people's lives go back to normal. Let's just say that. You should go to my website, look for show 2558. My cousin is going to him and seeing remarkable results already. The guy is the real deal. There's a lot of Lyme disease doctors out there who know you're not going to get better, but they run you through a bunch of stuff anyway until you give up and then you go to the next Lyme disease doctor. Mm-hmm. Dr. Horowitz is not one of those guys. He's published some profound papers. I found one of his papers. I know my cousin had Lyme disease. I was very selfish. I had him on the show, and what he had to say was remarkable. And his own wife had Lyme disease. That's how he shifted the focus of his practice. And now his wife is Lyme disease symptom free completely because of this protocol he's come up with. And it's a drug. It's a specific drug that they're using off-label. It's a drug that's been around for about 50 years, and they are seeing amazing results. So it's show 2558, new emerging treatment for Lyme disease. Listen to the show, reach out to him. He no longer sees patients, but his practice has several doctors who all treat patients the same way. The other thing that's interesting that you said that's very accurate, people who have autoimmune disorders, whether it be rheumatoid arthritis, whether it be skin, rosacea, anything like that, they'll get sick. They'll be put on a round of a very strong antibiotic. While they're on that antibiotic, and for weeks after, their autoimmunity just subsides. It's like they don't, oh my God, I feel better. But then after a little while, it comes back. And I believe that's because if you go and kill your lawn and you don't throw down seed right away so that when the lawn dies, the new seed takes root, then weeds are going to come in. And so when they get put on these antibiotics, it kills everything, the good and the bad. The symptoms of their autoimmunity stop. But now they don't do what you just said. They don't go, okay, now what do I do with this beautiful terrain I have? How do I plant the right stuff in it? I believe that people with autoimmunity who see a subsiding of their symptoms when they're put on antibiotics have a window of opportunity immediately after the antibiotics to start hammering with the bifidobacteria, start hammering with some of these probiotics and some of these prebiotics to help keep those bad from taking up root again. What do you think of that?
Well, we've actually done some research specifically. We have some PhDs working for us in Sarajevo, and we come up with these concepts. Matt and I said there, well, what happens if we do this? And turns out we actually tested it with a variety of common antibiotics to see what would happen if we were taking antibiotics concordant. And the two things that worked really well for us was the leaky gut garden and the P3OM. The P3OM actually resisted antibiotics better than any probiotic that we have ever been able to test. So one of the suggestions that we do with a lot of our clients is we have them continue on with P3OM during the antibiotic, finish the antibiotic phase off. That's very, very important because antibiotics can create mutations.
Stronger.
So that's why the doctor says, take the whole course, make sure you wipe everything out. And then you start introducing the repopulation of the probiotics, making sure that you have the right type of fiber inside of your diet, and be very, very careful when you're reintroducing food. The tendency a lot of people do is they go back and they start eating sugary foods and things like that, because a lot of things will make their guts feel kind of queasy. When you're feeling that queasiness that comes with antibiotics, it's because you're not digesting your food because the bacteria have been damaged. And so you need to be very, very clear. It's kind of like bodybuilders the most successful ones would reverse diet. They would be very careful about how they added calories to their diet. What I would suggest is you want to make sure that you have the fibrous foods along with the bacteria that work for your genetics and epigenetics. Because, for example, some people can have leeks, some people can't. Some people do well on artichokes, some people can't. And these are well-known fibrous foods. So knowing that information as someone who wants to be superhuman, I think is really, really key. I always say you can't supplement your way out of a bad diet, right, but the right supplements with the right diet can provide miracles.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and the other thing is that the stomach takes a long time to come back when you've spent a lot of time going in the wrong direction. And sugar is the big problem in the gut, in my opinion. All of the harmful pathogens in your stomach love sugar. It's why we crave sugar. There is research out there that shows that the craving of sugar is a result of chemicals produced by the bugs in our gut telling our brain we're hungry, we want sugar. And Ron Penna, who's brilliant, used to say to me all the time, if you crave something, you have to ask yourself why. And the hardest thing about diet is not what you start eating, but what you stop eating. And sugar is one of those things that people need to be more cognizant. People can say, oh, you can eat a little sugar. It won't. Yeah, it may not make you fat. I'm not saying that. And you can eat a little sugar here and there. But if you're eating sugar regularly, even fruit sugar, this pisses people off. Well, fruit is good for you. Who said? We only had it seasonally at best, our ancestors. But sugar feeds bad bacteria. And if you have gut issues, the first thing you should become is militant about getting sugar out of your diet. That alone, you will see dramatic changes. What do you think about that?
100%. I was actually, I'm going to visit my folks for the holidays. I'm going to go across the Canadian border and go through all this subject to all what I've got to go through to get there. It's got quarantine and everything. My mom says to me, Wade, what do you want? Now, my mom is ready for baking and cooking, and she's got like, it's a sugar factory, it's a gluten factory, it's all these things. I said, Mom, here's what I want. I want potatoes, I want beans, I want peas, I want all the vegetables out of your beautiful garden that you cook. I want that every meal. That's all I want to do, because there's no place that I can get such great vegetables. And why do I do that? Because I do know that I am going to go off a little bit on a few of those occasions. And I've got to make sure that I've got enough good guys to beat down the bad guys. So you have to realize it's a balance. And whatever you feed grows. Sugar will cause the proliferation of the bad bacteria. Healthy vegetables that are the type that support the growth of good bacteria, if you feed those. So for me, it's like, I got to feed my good guys, because I know I'm probably going to have a piece of pie or some cookies that my mom, like, I know it, right? So what I want to, the whole big thing is I don't want people to say,
sorry about that.
It's all right.
Ghost in the system.
Here's the thing that a lot of people think. They think because I'm a health guy or you're a health guy that we live some pristine life, that whatever. No. We've got the strategies to mitigate the regular social occasions in life. And yes, there are periods of militantness that are required if you're diseased or you're trying to achieve a next level or of performance or health or whatever. Yes, you do need to go through these ultra restrictive periods, and you'll do well from it. But how do you manage life? And I do believe that that's a lot about what the show is here to include, and things like enzymes and things like probiotics and eating the right foods. And like you said, asking why do I crave that?
Yeah, because there's a reason. There's things in your stomach creating chemicals to tell your brain to feed them. And bad and good all get the brain's attention. So it's for you to decipher who you want to feed and who you don't. Don't be a slave to your urges. shrnetwork.biz/Masszymes, Masszymes. It's the strongest protease formula you're going to find. You'll save 10% off and free shipping if you use the code SHR10. You should be taking handfuls of these every day with your protein, especially if you're a high protein person. Take the burden off of your body. Some of those enzymes may not even be used in the digestion of your food. They may help replenish the pools of enzymes. And you'll actually start to notice, my joints don't ache as much anymore, or that sore muscle just finally went away on its own, because these enzymes are used, protease enzymes are used not only to aid in digestion of protein, but to maintain and manage protein. And your muscles are made of protein. So they help to get that fibrous tissue broken down so your muscles are pliable and smooth and they work well. So check it out. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Masszymes. Get them before the holidays. Take that turkey, take that ham that Auntie Lucy is going to be making for you. Take a handful of Masszymes before you eat it, and ensure that it turns into something good for your body. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk about fiber. I'm starting to get some theories on fiber, and I want to run them by you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Superhuman Radio. Later in the show, we're going to have some experts talking to us about what sauna does, what sauna doesn't do. Stay tuned.
I love beef. And if you love beef, listen up. I've discovered the best tasting beef in the world, and that's not an exaggeration, at Piedmontese.com. The Piedmontese breed is famous from Italy for being lean and unbelievably tender, with half the fat and calories of traditional beef. Even typically tough cuts are tender when it comes from the Piedmontese cows. And for the first time ever, Piedmontese cows are being raised here in the USA. Get 25% off all beef and free shipping on orders of $100 or more at Piedmontese.com with code SHR. Go to Piedmontese.com and use code SHR today. You will never eat any other type of beef ever again. TaylorMade Health is focused on making sure you're able to perform and look your best. They are a leader in game-changing supplements and cosmetic products. Whether you want to increase strength, expedite recovery, facilitate soft
tissue repair, or reduce deep wrinkles. TaylorMade Health has you covered. TaylorMade Health is also the home to Dr. Seed's products such as BPC, BPC Plus, and the Chill Pill. All of my listeners can now get 20% off their first order with code TRY20. That's TRY20. This code can even be used on subscription orders. Visit shrnetwork.biz/try20 today and use code TRY20 for 20% off your first order.
Quest Nutrition makes bars, cookies, chips, and pizzas out of complete dairy-based proteins. Our products minimize net carbs and sugar without sacrificing taste. Each delicious chocolate-flavored chip, cookie chunk, and crunchy crumble is custom made to maintain Quest macros. It's time to enjoy foods that work for you, not against you. It's time to enjoy your Quest.
I love beef. And if you love beef, listen up. I've discovered the best tasting beef in the world, and that's not an exaggeration, at Piedmontese.com. The Piedmontese breed is famous from Italy for being lean and unbelievably tender, with half the fat and calories of traditional beef. Even typically tough cuts are tender when it comes from the Piedmontese cows. And for the first time ever, Piedmontese cows are being raised here in the USA. Get 25% off all beef and free shipping on orders of $100 or more at Piedmontese.com with code SHR. Go to Piedmontese.com and use code SHR today. You will never eat any other type of beef ever again.
Proper hydration can lead to improved endurance, performance, and recovery. When we sweat, we lose valuable electrolytes that must be replaced. That's why Element created a zero-sugar, science-backed ratio of electrolytes that you can add to your water. It comes in 3 flavors. Sample them all risk-free with the Element Variety Pack. Carl's favorite is raspberry. Free shipping on all U.S. orders. Go to shrnetwork.biz/LMNT and get yours today. Mind Bullet is a kratom product derived from the coffee family to boost energy and creative juices. Mind Bullet comes in both pill and liquid form for the ultimate pre-workout supplement. When needing a little pick-me-up or to get through the morning fog, Mind Bullet will set your productive course fast. Go to shrnetwork.biz/mindbullet, all one word, today, and save 20%. No subscription required. That's shrnetwork.biz/mindbullet. Get yours today.
This is the Superhuman Channel, doing reps with the weight of the world.
Welcome back. So we have 2 more questions we want to get to real quick, and then I want to talk about fiber. The first one comes from Danny, and he says, do I think certain anabolic steroid injectables could affect ulcerative colitis? Well, I'll tell you what it does affect. Estrogen changes the landscape of the gut microbiome. Testosterone changes the landscape. So if you have super physiological levels of hormones, they are going to change the gut microbiome. Do they have a direct effect on ulcerative colitis? I have no idea. I would venture to say no, but I could be wrong. But they definitely affect the microbes in your gut. What do you think, Wade?
You know, it's interesting. There's a lot of athletes in the bodybuilding world who ended up suffering from ulcerative colitis, concordant, I do believe, with high protein diets and the use of anabolic agents such as steroids. And I have a theory that it can be very disruptive for the digestive stuff. And one of the reasons why we have, I think, so many professional bodybuilders and strength athletes who use our products is because they do eat a lot of protein, and many of them do use anabolic agents. And the thing is they found that they feel better, their digestion works better, and they don't have when you have gas and bloating to start with, or you start having pain or discomfort, that what that is, a message is your body saying, stop what you're doing.
Right. Right.
It's really that simple. So I think people need to understand a little bit, it's I hate to say it's a this or a that, but I don't see it as a positive when you have a condition like that. There may be certain anabolic agents or steroidal invented for that treatment. But again, you can't use a drug to get out of a lifestyle.
Very, very good. Mark DeCorso, what's your experience or thought with a true 90-10 keto on health, gut, and long-term carbohydrate metabolism? You're the diet guy.
Yeah, well, here's the thing with keto. It works really well for some people. My business partner's been doing keto for over 25 years. I do believe that when you become fat adapted, you have the ability to eat a little bit more carbohydrates than someone who's going through the initial stages. So you can kind of, for example, his ability to recoil back from carbohydrates, and he's coached thousands of people, or at least hundreds of people on keto. I'm not sure if it's in the thousands, but certainly hundreds. I do think, and going to Dom D'Agostino, who is actually a researcher who works with our company, he believes that cyclic keto for the long term is better, because if you stay on a restricted diet for too long, oftentimes you will lose the bacteria and the enzymatic capabilities to break down carbohydrates in the future. So I do think it could impair carbohydrate metabolism down the long road.
Let's talk about fiber. So I had a conversation, and I talked about it on the show many times, with Leslie Aiello. She used to run the Wenner-Gren Foundation, which is an anthropological foundation that studies everything, including diet, of our ancestors. And she wrote an article that's still on the internet, how eating meat made our brains bigger. Mm-hmm. And she looked at Australopithecus forward to us currently, and she said, all that fiber isn't really good. Now, some fiber is good. I don't want people to interpret this as me saying fiber is bad. But I have a suspicion. When you eat fiber in leeks, in artichokes, since you brought that up, or even in everyday vegetables and fruits, the fiber is the cell wall, the cellulose, if you will. So it's part of a continuum of the flesh of what you're eating.
Yep.
But I think we're getting into trouble today because people are taking isolated fibers, whether they're soluble or insoluble, putting 15, 20 grams in a protein bar. And when I did a show probably 10 years ago that showed that acellular carbohydrates, flour, feed bad microbes in the gut. And the researcher had very, very good information that showed the changes in the gut microbiome when the subjects in this study were eating breads, pastas, and flour-based foods. Because acellular means that normal structure has been lost, so it digests differently. In fact, it's so simplified that it digests in the gut. It feeds the bugs in the gut. It doesn't even get downstream where it could feed other things. We also know this is true about homogenization of fats. When you look at the fat membrane in intact dairy fat, it's good, it's healthy, it's wonderful. But once they break that membrane to homogenize fat, the fat becomes harmful to our bodies. And I'm starting to think the same may be true about fiber. If you're eating fiber in a piece of fruit and a piece of vegetable, that's one thing. But if you're eating a protein bar that boasts 20 grams of fiber, lots of people are having trouble digesting that. What are your thoughts?
100%. And one of the things that when we did Masszymes, we actually include, a lot of people talk about the protease, but we actually included a variety of different enzymes that assist people in breaking down fiber. Almost always when we see people who often, let's take the person who needs fiber. That says, I need to get fiber into my diet because it really helps you remember those old, the all brand commercials or whatever it was back in the day, like, oh, everybody's talking to the thing. Well,
I used to eat Fiber One. It was
exactly
the highest fiber of any cereal. It was actually basically Metamucil turned into a cereal.
And it goes back to, again, it's not what you eat. It's what you're able to digest, absorb, and utilize. And if you're a person that's pounding fiber because you're not breaking down your food very well, you're getting undigested proteins leaking into the gut that's messing you all up. What you really have is a dysbiosis in your gut. In other words, you do not have enough bacteria to break down the fiber. Then also, a lot of fiber may contain other chemical agents that are also disruptive that are coming in the fiber that's sitting in your apple, your apple skin, or it's inside the actual plant, your hearts of palms or your artichoke or whatever. So all that to say is, if you want to have great health, you need to be concentrating on optimizing your digestive system all of the time, because the agents that are disrupting it are huge. And if you require to add fiber to your diet, make sure that you've got the good probiotics to break that fiber down, because if you have a buildup of fiber inside your intestinal tract, that can also be very inflammatory. And you've seen this with people that go on these high fiber diets or go all plant-based, and all of a sudden they end up with all these digestive systems and they can't eat anything because basically they put so much fiber in there, the fiber became undigestible, just like you have undigested meat, or just like you have undigested food is the number one toxin in your body, whether it's protein, whether it's fiber, whatever it happens to be. That's a problem, and that's why we're so passionate about what we do.
shrnetwork.biz/Masszyme, Masszymes. It's the strongest protease enzyme formula you'll find. Save 10% off by using the coupon code SHR10. Get a bottle for the holidays, and watch how much easier you have the time you have in digesting all the food you're going to be pounding down. Watch. Wade, great to be with you, brother.
Always a slice, Carl.
All right, I'll talk to you later, and we're going to take one quick commercial break, and when we come back, going to be joined by Erik Kralovetz from Good Health Sauna. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Everybody wants to feel better, be healthier, and happier. If you don't sweat profusely on a regular basis, you won't feel as good as you could. Studies have shown the power of infrared sauna. Infrared penetrates 1 to 2 inches into the body. It helps those with back pain, fibromyalgia, arthritis, depression, and anxiety. Patients get relief from infrared sauna. The Good Health Sauna has been shown to be an exercise mimetic, conveying many of the same benefits as cardio. There are a lot of reasons people buy a Good Health Sauna, but the bottom line is you will be a much happier, healthier person by using the Good Health Sauna every day. You'll crave it, you'll love it, and it will be the best purchase you have ever made. Good Health Saunas provide commercial-grade saunas for in-home and commercial use, backed by the best lifetime warranty in the industry. Unmatched customer service and the best financing makes owning one easy and will fit any budget. Go to goodhealthsauna.com/superhumanradio to learn more and save 25% off.
When craving a snack, look for Select Savory Snack sugar-free biltong, the healthy alternative to sugar-laden beef jerky. They use a fattier cut of beef, making it more tender and flavorful. For mealtime, choose from their 63 seasonings, which are sugar and additive free. From chipotle rub to savory pumpkin spice, you'll find an option to suit your palate. Go to shrnetwork.biz/SSS today. Use code SHR15 to save 15% on any meat snack or seasoning. Savor the flavor today.
By now, you're aware of the cognitive benefits of nootropics. My friends over at Pure Nootropics are giving my listeners 10 to 30% off their already great prices on over 70 high-quality nootropics. Stock up on DHM so you can feel good after your holiday celebration, or try the Superhuman Stack to boost your brain and energize your day. Go to shrnetwork.biz/pure, that's PURE, and start saving today. Getting a massage
question and answer with Erik and Matt.
Strategy to facilitate better recovery. Getting to massage therapists can be difficult and expensive, especially in these times. The solution is the Meteor, a heated massage ball from Milestorm. Reduce pain and soreness and expedite recovery with the Meteor's research-backed vibration settings and therapeutic heat. It's convenient for travel and works on any body part. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Meteor for 15% off and free shipping if you buy 2 or more. Start recovering better today. Do you remember those delicious toaster pastries you had when you were a kid? You know, the rectangular sugar-filled snacks? Well, guess what? Legendary Foods has just made low-carb toaster pastry. This is the first of its kind, and honestly, these things are amazing. They have 3 to 4 net carb, less than 1 gram of sugar, and 9 grams of protein. You can eat them right out of the wrapper or lightly toast them. The only question is, which flavor? Strawberry or brown sugar cinnamon? They're available at legendary.com and Amazon.
New Mass Pro Synthogen X2 just upped its own legendary game. To distance itself even further from the rest of the pack, Synthogen X2 now has double the key active ingredients. If you've ever wondered what steroid-like recovery feels like, Synthogen X2 delivers. See why others compare it favorably to powerful bodybuilding drugs at synthogen.com. Mass Pro Synthogen. When you train with it, you'll gain with it.
Spit that out right now. This is the Superhuman Channel.
Welcome back to Superhuman Radio. We're joined by Erik Kralovetz. from the Good Health Sauna Company. I have one of their saunas. It's fantastic. In fact, I got to tell a funny story, Erik. So we just moved into a new house.
Oh, nice. That's exciting.
So the moving company was like, you have to disassemble the sauna and reassemble it. Our guys aren't going to try it. They're not going to do it. I'm like, okay. The sauna came apart so fast, it was ridiculous. Right? Once I took Elisa and I took the top off, laid it on the floor. Well, let me rephrase. I got a step ladder. I lifted one side of the sauna, unplugged some clips. This side, unplugged some clips. That side, unplugged some clips. That side, unplugged some clips. I didn't even have to memorize which were which because each of the wires had a different male and female. You couldn't cross them by accident because this plug would not plug into that plug. So put that down. The heaviest part was the part with the glass door because the glass is heavy. Lifted that up, leaned it against the wall. Sides came off, back came off. The base came up. It went up the stairs. They put it in the new house. I assembled it myself. All I needed help was the guy helped me get the top back on. Just like you said, everything falls in place. Click, click, click. The top, I went around and I was like, oh, I forgot. But I did have a need for customer service. So the bench, we have the heated bench.
Yes.
And there's these two little white plates, junction boxes on either side. Mm-hmm. And one of them had wires on the inside that just connected to each other. So there were 3 connections. I only had 2 wires. I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. And I got somebody on the phone from customer service, from technical support. Is like, no. That one just plugs right into the one next to it. And it went together. Boom. The whole sauna was up and running. Elisa thought for sure I wasn't going to be able to put it back together. You're right. It's idiot proof. You cannot make a mistake.
Yeah, people have a hard time believing me when I talk about it, and I talk to customers on the phone, and it is literally just snapping the sauna together and plugging in plugs together. That is all you have to do. You cannot screw it up. And I've had many times where I've talking to families and I'm explaining them how to put it together, and I tell them, and I'll hear the wife look at the husband and go, "I'm sorry, he's just not mechanically inclined. I don't trust him to do it." And I go, no, here, watch this video of a step-by-step process on how you put our saunas together. And after they watch the 3-minute video, they're like, that's it? That's all I got to do? Oh, that's simple. Yeah, that's no problem. We'll take care of it right now. No issues. So I'm glad to hear, Carl.
Yeah, it was so simple. It was ridiculous. So I got a question from a girl, and I'm not going to mention her name, and you'll know why when I say this. But she messaged me on Facebook in anticipation of the show. She said that she has breast implants. She said, I know infrared penetrates the skin. What about my breast implants?
Yeah, there's no concern for that. It goes in 1.5 inches deep into your bodies for the full spectrum. And studies have shown that have been no issues with breast implants. There's been no issues with any type of defibrillator or cardiac pacemaker. Now, that being said, if you have the cardiac pacemaker or defibrillator, I would talk to your doctor. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you what you can and cannot do. But what I can tell you, history has shown that the infrared heat has not affected any of those devices or implants at all.
Right. I just said to her, if you're worried, keep a bra on, just put something on that will give you a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Cushion, padding.
Yeah. Protection against the light. That's all.
Yeah. The light. I've heard that before. I've sold to people with breast implants, and there's never been an issue. There's nothing to worry about there. Same thing with any type of metal or, any kind of, like when you have your joints repaired and stuff like that.
Yeah,
there's no issue.
Devices, right?
Exactly. Yeah. There's no concern.
Because let's be honest, if that's a problem, then going to the beach is a problem. Laying in the sun is a problem, right?
Yeah. When people try to say I don't know if infrared heat is good for me or if it's safe. And I'm like, you need infrared light and all the benefits of it from going outside and getting sunlight. So if the infrared sauna is not good for you, then going outside is not good for you. It's just, it doesn't make sense. It's responsible for photosynthesis, which without that, there would be no life on this planet.
Right. What about the fact that these panels, so the panels have an element in them, and that's covered by a material, correct?
There's two different type of heaters. There's carbon fiber heaters and there's ceramic heaters. The carbon fiber heaters, those are the heaters along the back wall and the sides, and even the floor heater.
Right.
That's just carbon fiber, and that puts out far infrared. Then the ceramic heaters, that's on the front walls of our saunas, and then calf heater, if you have a calf heater in your model.
Yeah. And
that puts out mid and far infrared. And then the chromotherapy in the ceiling puts out the near infrared.
So the fiber panels, should I see light emitting from that? Can I see far infrared with the naked eye?
No, nobody can see infrared light with the naked eye. I'm a firefighter, and we have infrared cameras that when we're fighting a fire, we're looking around. Yeah. And we're looking for the big red glow on the infrared camera to see where heat is, because then we know if we pointing the camera at a wall and we see a big red glob in the middle of it, well, we know there's fire or significant heat inside that wall, and we know we need to start taking this wall apart to see if we have to put out the fire inside the wall. So, nobody can see infrared.
And then near infrared, is that visible, or is that also not visible?
No, near, mid, and far infrared is not visible. There's some animals out there that can see infrared. I think snakes and some other. Right. Yeah, they can see infrared, but humans, you cannot see. You can't see it.
Now, what about heat lamps, right? So some people think, oh, I'm just going to buy a couple heat lamps. That's the same thing as a near and far infrared or full spectrum infrared sauna. It's not, is it?
No, the problem with that is first of all, the heat lamps get extremely hot, and you have to keep them at a far distance away from you. Then you have to think about, how am I going to insulate this and capture the heat to have enough heat in this small area to get me to sweat and get the benefits of sweating. And then the other way is your body's not absorbing the infrared light from all 360 degrees around you. So you got to stand in front of a lamp for 10 minutes in one position. Then you rotate your body 45 degrees, and you sit there for another 10 minutes.
Let's hit this head on. There's a company out there that sells like a $8,000 sauna. It's wood, just like your sauna is. Mm-hmm. It's got a stool that's on a swivel, like a soda fountain chair that you're talking about, and it has three basically heat lamps that you've seen at McDonald's keeping hamburgers warm.
Yeah.
And you have to rotate like a rotisserie chicken, this way. And they're charging like $6,000 to $8,000 for one of those. It's just a friggin' heat lamp.
Yeah, it's very inconvenient. It's not very comfortable, and then you're only getting the benefits of near infrared. You're not getting the benefits of mid and far. So, it's beneficial for you. I'm not going to knock it. I can't say there's anything wrong with it. It's just, it's not comfortable, and you're not getting the full benefits of what you could get out of it.
Yeah. And the idea that it's not like, I would like with mine, I just sit in it. I don't have to worry about like, am I facing the right way? Am I getting it on my back? I get infrared on my whole body, the front panels, the side panels. I got the one that hits your calves. That's underneath the heated bench. And it's like, I don't have to think about, I need to rotate now. And the other thing is, and I'm saying this, not you. Okay. I mean, I can buy those heat lamps for like $8, right? And I can put them, I can have an electrician put together 3 sockets for me on a piece of wood, and I can just point that at myself, and I don't have to spend $8,000 for that. Like,
yeah.
It just doesn't sound, when I look at that, I think, this just doesn't look like a good expense of a use of money to do it that way.
Yeah, that's not for me either. Yeah. I like the full spectrum, near, mid, and far. I like the convenience of sitting in there and getting 360 degrees of infrared light around me. And I like to stretch out in there and move around a little bit. I got the corner unit, which has plenty of space in it.
Right.
And I don't want to sit in one position and then rotate. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Mine hits like 135 so fast, I'm dripping sweat, like really, really fast, and generally I turn it on, when you first turn it on, it starts up at 60 minutes. And by the time I get in it, it's been running for about 10 minutes. It's hot when I get in there. I'm sweating right away. The other thing that I think is interesting is a lot of people are concerned about EMF. I'm going to get in this box. I know that I'm getting infrared, far infrared, near infrared. I'm getting all this great light. But what about the EMF? How do you guys control for EMF? And is there a lot of EMF in your unit?
So our saunas are tested by Vitatech out of Virginia. What they do is they test medical equipment and they test for electromagnetic radiation, EMFs. That's anything that has power going to it puts off EMF. Cell phones, computers, televisions, anything that has power is putting it off. And that's they say is not good for us. And national standards is you don't want to be exposed to 10 milligauss or higher at any given point. And Vitatech has certified that our saunas put off 0.83 milligauss. That's the average range, and it most frequently it doesn't go over 1. So that's a far cry away from 10 milligauss.
And you probably have to get very close to an element to even have that, because the further away from the device you go, the electromagnetic field drops dramatically.
Exactly. So when you're sitting in the middle of it, you're not even exposed to the 0.83, depending on the position that you're in.
Now, your wood that you use for your saunas is beautiful, right? It's got great color. It's smooth when you touch it. There's no splinters. It's soft. Do we have to worry about any chemicals or anything like that in the wood?
No, we don't use any toxic glues. We don't use any particle board or plywood. A lot of these cheap sauna companies, they use pressed particle board and plywood. That's all glued together. When the walls warm up, that off gases into the sauna, which is not good for us. We don't want to be exposed to that. We don't use any toxic glues in the wall. There's nothing off gassing in it. And each year we have a third party testing company come in and test our saunas, both in the Canadian hemlock wood and the Canadian red cedar wood. And they test the air quality of the sauna when it's on and up to full temperature, and when it's off. And then they actually test the air outside the sauna, or not even outside the sauna, but outside. And they said that the results of the test is that the air quality inside the sauna, when it was turned on to the max all the way up, the air quality inside the sauna tested better than it actually tested outside. So I don't know what it's doing to it, but if anybody has any questions, I can send the third-party reports. We have that all in email for any type of customers that ask. Same thing with the low EMF study with testing it results as well.
What's the difference between the two woods aesthetically? Is one darker, one lighter?
Yeah, Canadian red cedar is a darker wood. It puts off a cedar oil, that you smell. You smell cedar. It's got a flavor to it. Canadian hemlock, it's a blonde wood. It smells like wood, but it doesn't have any type of flavor for it.
Yeah, so that I must have, because mine doesn't have a very strong scent at all.
Yeah, and a lot of people love cedar, and they tell me I have to have a cedar sauna. If I'm going to own a sauna, it's going to be cedar. So we offer cedar. And then there's other people that say, I can't stand the smell of cedar, or even some people are allergic to cedar. So we offer Canadian hemlock for those customers, and that way everybody can be happy. And we sell majority as Canadian hemlock wood. And it's all FSC certified Canadian hemlock wood, Canadian red cedar. I know some other companies use wood out of China and Asia and stuff like that. All of ours certified. It's all harvested, or it's harvested organically, ecologically. We're not doing any harm to the forest. Right. Yes, to the climate.
Right. So I like to put a little, I have this little wooden thing that hangs, so the panel has those lattices, if you will, right? The wood strip, it's real pretty. And I have this little thing that hangs, and it has like a little shot glass in it. And I put eucalyptus in there.
Yes.
Other than the smell, which I like, is there any benefit to having eucalyptus in your sauna?
Well, it clears out your sinuses and stuff like that. I just like, I have a battery operated diffuser that I put in the corner of my hemlock sauna. I would say it doesn't work as well in Canadian red cedar saunas, just
got
because
a competing smell then, right?
Exactly. And even some people like, and cedar costs more money. It costs us about $400 more per model to get cedar wood. The cedar just costs more. It's not that it's better wood. But a lot of people don't want to pay that extra money, but they want to smell cedar. So what I tell them to do is buy the Canadian hemlock, save yourself some money, and then just diffuse cedar oil in your sauna. And that way you get the cedar smell. And I'm sure there's lots of benefits to different oils and stuff like that. I'm not an oil expert, but I like using eucalyptus. Yeah. I do cedar in it sometimes, and even menthol I like to put in there.
What about cost to operate it? If I use my sauna a half hour, an hour, 3 or 4 days a week, am I going to see a big impact on my electric bill?
So depending on where you live, it costs anywhere from 15 to 20 cents per hour to run your sauna, which so if you ran your sauna an hour a day, every day for the entire month, you're looking at about $5 a month, which is nothing, especially compared to the health benefits that you're getting through using the sauna on a regular basis. That's never a concern. And I understand why people are concerned about that, but it's not like a hot tub. You're not keeping your sauna hot the entire time. You're 24/7. You're only warming it up when you're going to use it and while you're using it. And after that, it barely draws any power. So
I remember watching a girl at a trade show who suffered from really bad fibromyalgia. And they were letting people get in the sauna, and she said she had fibro, and they said, would you like to sit in the sauna? And she wasn't a shill. She was just walking along. It was her girlfriend. They had a baby carriage, and she got in, and like within a half hour, she said that like all her pain went away miraculously. And in fact, the guy that was running the booth said that she came back every day that they were there and asked, can I just sit in the sauna for a half hour? Because she couldn't afford a sauna. And like it worked so good, she wanted to experience a few days in a row of no pain. And what is it about infrared sauna? Is it the heat? Is it the infrared light? Why do people with fibro benefit from infrared sauna?
So pain relief is one of the biggest reasons and most popular reasons why people buy infrared saunas. First of all, the heat. The heat helps with any type of pain relief. That's why you buy hot packs and stuff like that. Also, it's the infrared heat penetrates or causes your body to produce pain relieving hormones and endorphins like noradrenaline, norepinephrine, hormones like that to give you a natural pain relief throughout your body. And also the biggest reason what I think helps arthritis and fibromyalgia patients the most is that it helps reduce the amount of inflammation in your body. And when you reduce the amount of inflammation in your body, you're going to get pain relief, you're going to feel a lot better, and you're going to reduce your risk for a lot of diseases that are caused by inflammation.
Is there a double benefit to infrared sauna versus just a convection sauna? You know, when I was a young man, I've been using sauna since I was 17, maybe. In fact, I love to shave in the sauna. You get the best shave in the sauna once you get hot. Do you think that the convection saunas, which by the way cost a ton more money to run, they're very expensive, that Element and the rocks, but do you think there's added value to infrared sauna versus just a plain old convection sauna?
Yeah, the heat goes 1.5 inches deeper into your body. So a conventional sauna goes 1/2 inch deep into your body. The infrared sauna goes 1.5 inches. So it goes 3 times deeper into your body. And it gets the deeper toxins and poisons loosened up and into the sweat glands where your body sweats them out. they did a study where they tested the sweat from the infrared sauna and the convection sauna, and the infrared sauna sweat had 3 times the amount of toxins and poisons in it. So the more toxins and poisons you can get out of your system, well, the better everything starts to work. Everything works better. You feel better, and you get all sorts of medical benefits from that.
So right now, if my listeners go to shrnetwork.biz/good health sauna, you can save 25% off a sauna. Plus, you can have available to you no interest financing for 18 months. What about shipping? Do they have to pay for the shipping separately?
Normally, without any type of promotion, it's a $400 shipping charge. Right now, with the Superhuman Radio podcast special that we got going on, 25% off. Like you said, no interest financing for 18 months if you want to select that option. You don't have to. And then no shipping charge, so free shipping anywhere in the lower 48. And then we're also giving you away the free lifetime warranty as well. So we're not charging for the warranty.
Is that lifetime warranty transferable? Let's say I sell my sauna. Can somebody take the warranty?
There's only 2 things that void our warranty. Number one is if you put the sauna outdoors. So these are not made for the outdoor weather elements. And besides that, any infrared sauna should not go outdoors in the winter time.
Yeah, you can get electrocuted if you're not careful.
Exactly. The reason why I say that is there are a lot of companies that tell people that they can put them outdoors. And the other thing that voids the warranty is if you sell the sauna. So you have the lifetime, Carl, you have the lifetime warranty as long as you're alive and you own the sauna.
Okay.
So once the sauna transfers, that's when it voids.
That's fair. Now, I noticed that some of these saunas have entertainment devices in them, right? Radios and CD players. What can people add to a sauna to make the experience even better?
So we have the AM FM stereo. You can connect your phone to it with Bluetooth. There's 2 speakers in the ceiling, and you can listen to Superhuman podcast or Superhuman Radio in the podcast over the Bluetooth. It's also got an AM FM radio that you can listen to.
And the AM FM radio has a CD player. I know a lot of people aren't using CDs anymore, but it has a CD player in it, doesn't it?
Well, our older models did. We just took it out about a year ago and we upgraded the stereo, but you can, most people just use Bluetooth. It also comes with
nobody wants a CD anymore. You got all the music on your phone and you can Bluetooth it. That's a better deal. I
had one customer about 6 months ago ask me about that, and he asked me, he goes, "Do you have any more saunas with CD players? Because I don't care if it's 5 years old, I'll buy it. I have a stack of CDs and I still use them." And I'm like, I'm sorry, we sold out of those a long time ago. But,
I have an older one. I have the CD player in it. I would do anything to have the Bluetooth instead because I have so much better music available on my phone.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. It also comes with the chromotherapy mood light in the ceiling.
Yeah, I like
that. You can change it to 6 different colors and your regular LED light. There's 5 different brightness levels of each color, and then 2 modes where it cycles through all the colors and all the brightness levels.
I just like the red, but I know it. I like the first setting is cycles, and then you hit it again and it goes to one color, and you hit it again, it goes to another color, and so on. I like the red. I just think the red with the wood and the heat and it just is very relaxing, very calming.
Yeah, it looks real sharp. If you turn the lights off in the room where the sauna's on, and you turn the sauna on and you turn that red light on, take a picture of it and send it to your friends. It
won't be jealous.
Yes, it looks really solid.
So, and how long once I took mine apart and put it back together, I realized there's really nothing that could wear out in the sauna.
No, there's no maintenance. There's no filters to replace. There's no water lines. You don't have to connect anything. It's not hardwired into the wall. And the heaters are designed to last. The life expectancy of the heaters are 80,000 hours. So nobody that purchases a sauna is gonna use it to its life expectancy. That's why we can offer the lifetime warranty. Same thing with the control panel and all this stuff, is that we know the life expectancy is so long that you're not going to reach the life expectancy of the sauna. And if something did happen where something wasn't working, we're always going to take care of you.
Last question. Do you have a scratch and dent? What's the cheapest somebody can get into a sauna with Good Health Sauna?
We used to have scratch and dents.
They go too fast.
Yeah, we're pretty close to, I mean, we have sold like crazy those last couple months. So I'm not sure what we have, but with the 25% off, I mean, if you went with the cheapest model, you'd be looking at probably about $3,900 with the one person. And that's,
if you took the financing, it's got to be under $100 a month.
Yeah, it will get you under $100 a month. There's a lot of different plans we can. Most people select the 0% interest for 18 months. But if you needed something else where, you were willing to pay interest, but you wanted a payment down at $40 a month, we can work with you on that too and get you that deal as well. So, and with all our financing, there's no payment penalty. So I know people that say, hey, once I get my taxes, I'm going to pay this thing off. So I'm going to get 0% interest, 18 months. I'll get the sauna and I get to use it and just send in the payment each month. And then once I get my taxes come April or whenever, they just pay it off.
That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
The website, the URL to use is shrnetwork.biz/goodhealthsauna, all one word, lowercase. Save 25% off. You can get 18 months interest-free financing. And do people talk to you if they want to talk? Because if you, like you said, hey, you want to get into a sauna for $50 a month, we'll get you into a sauna for $50 a month. Are you the one that they end up with on the phone, or there's other people?
We have plenty. We have a lot of salespeople and customer service reps. But if they go onto the website and they put in their information through the Superhuman Radio promotion, they're going to talk to me directly.
Excellent.
So I handle all Superhumans leads.
Okay. And so you'll get them into a sauna with a price point that makes them happy. Erik, thanks for being here today, brother.
Thank you, Carl. I appreciate it. You have a great show, and I'm always honored to be on.
Good deal, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. See you.
So that's it for today. Let's go ahead and plug the two guests today we had. Obviously, if you want the best protease enzyme in the world, go to shrnetwork.biz/Masszyme, Masszymes. Use the code SHR10 to save 10% off. And actually, they have some deals there that if you buy a few extra bottles, you can get this stuff for almost 46% off. So check that out. And of course, use the code SHR10. And then with the Good Health Sauna folks, go to shrnetwork.biz/goodhealthsauna. You'll be brought right to a Superhuman Radio page. You'll get 25% off a sauna. You'll be offered no interest financing for 18 months. And if you want a special deal, you say, look, I would get a sauna, but I got to stay under $50 a month. Fill out the form on that page, and you'll get in touch with Erik Kralovetz, and he will work with you and make you a happy person. It's Friday, which means no show tomorrow. We have great shows planned for all next week. Hope you can be there. Please share the show. Always share the show. Help people learn how to be healthy. And we will see everybody Monday. Thank you for being here today.